Hi, I'm Andrew Birch, the Director of EMF, the European Mission Fellowship, and I'd like to introduce our newest EMF missionaries, Mihai from Moldova and Benjamin and Tamás from Transylvania in Romania. So Mihai, first of all, tell us a bit about your family.
Hello, I'm Mihai Chisari. I'm married to Irina, my wife. We are together for this year, 5 years together. We have 2 little daughters, Delia, who is turning 4 in August, and Elisa, who is 8 months old. So we are a young family, privileged to be in ministry, living in Chișinău, Moldova.
So remind us, Mihai, where Moldova is, how many people live there, and what the main religion is in Moldova.
Moldova is an Eastern European country. For many, it helps to tell that it's between Romania and Ukraine because it's a very small country. In 2019, its population was estimated at 2.6 million people, out of which about 1 million live in the capital city in Chișinău. 93% of the people will consider themselves Orthodox. 0.9 will be Baptist Christians, and Christianity in general is 95%, and then you have a small percentage of Muslim, atheists, and other ideologies.
So why would you say in a few words that Moldova needs the gospel?
Well, I believe that everyone needs the gospel. It is especially sad when you have a country with a label on it, but with a different content. So we have 95% of people considering themselves Christians, but who many of them never heard the gospel. Many of them don't know who Jesus Christ even is, and they have a very mixed ideology about God and about religion. So the gospel needs to be preached, and there is a big spiritual need in this country.
And now you're working with a church or a church plant called Imago Dei Baptist Church. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, by God's grace, in 2016, God moved several of us to start a small group with the vision of starting a church here in Chișinău. And in 2018, from a group of 7 people, we started gathering together here in the district of Ciocana, in Chișinău city. And we started this church, we planned this church with 7 people. Now there are 18 members. Together we have about 30 attendees each Sunday. I serve as the pastor of Imago Dei Baptist Church, and we are a young church, just as most of the people in our church are, so mainly young families, and we are eager to proclaim our Lord in this community.
Thank you. Now moving on to you, Benjamin. Now you're married with a young daughter. What are their names?
Yes, you are right. They both have biblical names. My wife's name is Deborah, and my daughter's name is Priscilla. She's a 6-week-old child.
Great. Now, you're Romanian, but here's the thing. Mihai's first language is Romanian, but your first language is not Romanian. How do you explain that?
In 1920, when the First World War ended, Hungary was one of the losing countries. When the peace treaty was signed, Hungary's borders were modified. Transylvania was annexed to Romania. Thus, overnight, the Hungarian people became Romanian citizens, and I am such a Hungarian descendant.
Right. And how would you describe the spiritual situation in your part of Romania?
The Reformed Church and the Catholic Church have a strong influence in the places inhabited by the Hungarians. Boghiș, where I live, is dominated by the Reformed Church. Where the Reformed Church is present, there is a little bit more spiritual light than in the places dominated by the Catholic Church. But it is generally accepted that people are only religious without having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. In Boghiș and in Chișinău too, where I serve, people often go to church, and that is exactly what makes them think that everything is fine with them before God. They believe that their salvation is based on their works. Their religious leaders also reassure them that they are in a good place and in a good spiritual state, but they are not.
Thank you. Now moving on to you, Tamás. You have a lot in common with Benjamin. You were both born in 1996. You're
Yes.
both Hungarian-speaking Romanians, and you're both pastors. But you're not married, are you?
No, I'm not married yet. I have a fiancée. Her name is Andrea, and God willing, our wedding will be in August, 14th of August.
Great. Well, congratulations. Now
Thank
tell
you.
us about your ministry. What is a normal week like for you?
A normal week is based around the events in the church. On Monday night we have prayer time with the church, and I'm really happy that more and more people from the church are attending these meetings. These meetings are open for everyone. On Tuesday we have a gathering with the Roma people in Bihar, and after that we start a youth group meeting for the youths from the church. On Tuesday we have the weekly gathering with the church. There I serve most of the time. On Friday we have a teenagers meeting. Saturday we started a group for those who are newly baptized, to help them to grow and to nurture their faith. And on Sunday that's the hardest day of the week. Mainly most of the time 3 preachings in a day, and after that most of the time we have a catechism class for those who want to be baptized.
Thank you. You're a busy man. So
Yeah.
when you pray for Transylvania, what do you pray for?
I'm praying for the new generations, and I'm praying for that God would raise godly men and women, but I'm praying that God would raise men who can stand and who can defend the gospel and who can preach the gospel. I do see a great need. I don't know how it's elsewhere in the world, but I do see a great need in godly men who are standing their ground, and they are not backing off, they are not giving up the gospel, they are preaching it, they are loving it, and they are defending it.
Great, thank you. Well, let's end with one prayer request from each of you. So let's start with Mihai.
Well, after 2 almost years of pandemic and not being able to go out, this summer seems to be different. And we already had a VBS with about 100 kids and parents from community. So we're praying for the gospel that has been preached already and that will be preached to visits to elderly people and in a summer camp this summer, that the gospel will bring fruits and the God will be at work and we will rejoice in a blessed harvest.
Great, thank you. Benjamin?
Please pray that God will open opportunities for me to share the real gospel here in Boghiș and in Chișinău.
Thank you. And finally, Tamás?
Please pray for the new generation in Transylvania, in Romania, and pray that God would raise a godly man and woman who serve the Lord, love the Lord, and defend the gospel.
Great. Thank you, brothers. God bless you in your ministries. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.